Good evening, my name is Marin.
Yes, my name is Dino.
And this is the audio commentary for my Soulmates. I am the director and writer, and we're now seeing the opening shots of the film where the heroine is entering the bathroom, contemplating about depressive thoughts. While it is not mentioned in the film, my intention was to show that she has lost a beloved friend, boyfriend or husband, doesn't matter. You see here there are double faces of her in the mirror, which is subtle hints that there should be two people in here, as noticeable in empty chair, and now two empty chairs representing that there's an emptiness in her life, and she's on the balcony evidently trying to commit suicide. Well, at least it is implied. I like these opening titles where the opening credits are seen on in the sky, which is pretty interesting.
Yes.
And we filmed this on the Zapadny Kol, or the Western train station, isn't that right?
Yes, I wasn't there, but yes.
Yeah, this is the only truly comical sequence in the entire film where Tomislav Tarandek's character, Karl, has seen my character, Josip, in the distance and played this game, hide and seek, until he revealed himself, and then there's this comical dialogue between two of them, where Karl is telling him that he knows him. They are friends, and there's this long comical conversation where he's listing all the things that they did before: aqua fitness, driving on a scooter. And it was I tried to film this film in April 2015, but unfortunately I had difficulties starting it. Then we started to film in May, June, and we had some pickup shots in July 2015. And there was this very, very comical moment where Josip cannot control his giggling anymore. So we get these two friends who are here. And I mean, it was interesting because Katya Tsarevar was filming with the camera, and David Ogovic was the lighting technician and DP, director of photography. And when I arrived in a train at the train station and I decided to exit the train, Katya was already filming me. So the actual footage that was in the film was me actually exiting the train and when I arrived at the train station. And we were supposed to film this in another restaurant, but we didn't get the permission, so we filmed it in here, in the opening, which is, I like this breaking the fourth wall moment when Josip puts this PG-15 sign on the left side of the screen, which is hilarious from my opinion. And it's welcome addition to have film be comical for a change, because it's going to be very serious in the second half.
Yes. It will be. What is this?
Yes, because the film will make a retroactive return to Carlos, because Carlo just said the philosophy of the meaning of life using this mineral as a catalyst, and what Josip now learned from Carlo, he will going to share it with Nina's character Andrea at the end of the film. And I love this moment as well because you have 4 or 5 different things going on in this one take. They're going 3, 2, 1, and Vera enters the office, brings the report. Now there's a close-up shot from her, but Josip is not in this frame. She exits, and there's this comical, very comical moment where you see Dominic's character puts on the glasses, closes the pizza box. Josip's character hides the book, and Andrea enters with this very feisty fashion, presenting herself as a strict boss who is not very popular among the people in the office. And this was all done in one take.
It wasn't easy to shoot.
Of course it wasn't.
Yes.
And I loved it because there are so many details in this, but we just inserted this scene. We had the same framing of Andrea as it was with Vera before, but this time in this frame, Josip's character was in the same frame to show that they have a bond, whereas with Vera there was no bond with Josip, even though both Željko and Josip actually said that they thought that Veronica was actually prettier than Andrea. And Andrea has her hair closed up to show that she's reluctant to speak about her private life, which will change the next sequence. And there's an interesting scene coming up now where there's a editing through the time.
Oh yes. This was also tricky to shoot.
Yeah, because the camera moved for about 2 or 3 inches. Then there was a cut. We and Nina went to change clothes. Then we returned. Then the camera resumed filming for 2-3 seconds. Then we changed again
Also,
our costumes.
We didn't have a dolly, so it was a nightmare to shoot.
Yes, but in the end it was surprisingly well done. I mean,
Surprisingly, yes.
surprisingly indeed. And there was a small scene, as you have seen, on the wall where there was the finance of the Mugen Academy, which was a reference to Sailor Moon's S season, where there's a Mugen Academy from Dr. Tomoe. And there's now this conference room where Josip returns, only to find out he's alone, because Željko should have been here, and Andrea should have been here, and of course it's a weekend and nobody likes to be at the office and work at Saturday.
No, they don't.
And this time Andrea resumes for the 3rd time, and this time her hair is open, which is quite nice because it shows that she's about to open her personality to Josip, though it's quite unexpected. They're still official, they're still very distant, but in a moment they are going to surprisingly talk something about different than their job.
Yes, in a moment.
And how did you like shooting this scene?
Yes, I was shooting sound. It was horrible. I didn't. This was the first day of shooting for me, and I made a number of mistakes with sound. But yeah,
But in the end, it turned out surprisingly well.
it did. Yes.
It's amazing.
Can't take any credit for that. Yeah.
It's amazing what you can do with technology these days.
Oh yeah. Most.
I like the pose that Nina is doing here. I mean, it's very sweet, and very vulnerable. This is the first time Josip sees her as a human being, not just as an employee. And he's finally interested in her when she suddenly starts talking about her soul.
Yes, and this guy is Boris Vukovic. He made a documentary about Marin. This is hilarious. He was on set, and so Marin just asked him to make a
Documentary. Yeah.
To act in a
Yeah,
movie.
yeah.
Give him a role. Yes.
Yes, because if I'm in his film, he should be in my film as well. And
Right on. Yeah.
And I love this scene. I insisted that this scene should be filmed in one take. And all in all, it's about 3 minutes long, though we speeded up about 40% or faster because it was way too long.
No, it was 200%, maybe more.
Yeah, maybe even more,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
And David placed a number of different lights. He exchanged actually the lights on the ceiling to give a very continuous lighting from one location to another, the hallway, and the third location here in the office. And it was masterfully done. I think it's amazing.
It
The-
is, yes.
It was lovely, lovely. One long take, and he actually we were doing this at 1 o'clock in the morning, right?
I wasn't there, yeah.
Yeah, you left at one point.
Sorry.
I don't blame you.
Yeah.
I don't blame you because it was very late. And I had this only my ramp crew who continued to the end of this shooting day, where Josip and Andrea just simply left the conference room to pursue talking about themselves because they found out that they're actually soulmates all along.
Sound is shitty on this part. What happened? Yes.
And I loved how she actually took his book and he took her book because he was reading Aristotle's Metaphysics, the previous scene, and this actually shows how they're becoming closer. She's reading his book and she's talking about philosophy, art, life, something he never experienced in her, and he only thought that she's quite a boring person. And if you actually take these two books together, Brothers Karamazov and Aristotle's Metaphysics, if you combine them together, you actually get something like Brothers in Metaphysics, and you actually get how they became some sort of soulmates. And there's this long sequence, but I think it's actually quite well done. And as I said, we were shooting this until 1 a.m. It was terribly late, but in the end it turned out quite well.
Sure.
And, oh, this is very, very funny, small bit. Probably the last joke in the entire film where she actually does this dance, where she's infatuated a little bit and exits the scene. And what was done here was to show their interaction, their bondage, which was somewhat inspired by something I experienced a couple of years ago with one woman who surprised me as well, because I didn't know that she had this spiritual and philosophical side to her.
I gotta say, Dubravko is an excellent actor here.
Dominic, yeah.
Dominic, shit, yeah.
Yeah.
Dominic.
He did a great job here.
Sorry, Dominic. Yeah.
And very comical. No, this is probably the last joke in the entire film because he actually gets that they're becoming closer, Josip and Andrea. And my favorite scene of the entire film is coming up.
Oh, wait, I know exactly which one you mean, yeah.
It's very romantic, but also very metaphysical as well. I love the music. I love this composition that Josip is sleeping in his home and Andrea is sleeping somewhere on the other side of the city in her home. And there's this split screen where somehow they're drawn to each other, and they touch at the center of the screen.
And it was actually easy to accomplish in post.
Yeah, and we actually didn't film this in my home. We actually filmed this in Kino Klub Zagreb. I was lying on the floor.
Yes, tell them how you got it to put your hand to the right spot.
Yeah, we had a problem to analyze where my hand is going to be placed and where her hand is going to be placed. So David and Katya were on the balcony of the Kino Club Zagreb. They placed the camera there to get this bird's eye perspective, and they placed a stone or watch somewhere under the blanket, and then we could touch the bump and we could find out.
Feel the watch under
yes,
the blanket.
you could feel where we should put our fingers. Where I should put my finger on the left and then her finger on the right.
And it worked.
Yeah, it worked. It was like a charm. I actually wanted to film it, I don't know, in a home, to place the camera on the ceiling, but David had this other idea. It worked perfectly.
Moral of the story, always listen to David.
By the way, this was filmed in Udruga Pogon. The people were very kind to us. They gave us this location to film, and this was very close to Kino Club Zagreb, maybe like 100 yards away.
Yeah. Yards. Meters.
Oh, who cares? It's one of the same. Anyway, we had. It was very convenient because we could place this camera crew and go from one location to another. And I love this special effect, visual effect of a ship on the sea, on the sky.
Where did you film the ship?
Well, it was
Stock footage.
yeah, stock footage. And this was the last scene we actually filmed. We found this meadow. Actually wanted to film it in a exterior of an apartment, but I think this was actually more romantic here in this grass. And one of the things we did here was to actually the microphone was not in no, it's not in the scene. We actually just filmed me and Nina standing there and talking, and then we recorded this conversation off screen and then just put it here.
What could have potentially been a huge mistake, but it worked.
Yeah, thank you. And so Josip finds out that Andrea is depressive. She doesn't have meaning in life. And then he remembers Carlos' philosophy, and this was the philosophy that one friend of mine told me when he heard it from another friend, and I just begged him, please, can I use it in the film? And he said, yes, sure. And this is why I wanted to film this movie in the first place, to have this wonderful philosophy, because without life, there is nothing. There is no beauty, there is no meaning, there is no humor, there is nothing. Without life, universe would not know that it exists. Imagine a universe where there was no life. It would appear, develop, and then disappear, and nobody would know. It would be as if it never existed. I love this philosophy, and as my inspiration was...
Go ahead.
As my inspiration was to use this Mezo Nikoku anime plot where Kyoko actually has lost her husband, and this is why she grieves. I also used it to show that Andrea was actually became distant from Josip all of a sudden when he mentioned the ship anecdote, where he almost died because that reminded her of her late boyfriend or husband. It was left unsaid, deliberately unsaid in the film.
Just wanted to say, originally you wanted to shoot this on a different location, but we were kicked out of a bar.
Yeah.
And so we found this one, and David suggested this location, and it was beautiful, as you can see, and it was easy shoot, and even the sound is good, which is not easy to get on the exterior, but it worked. Yeah.
Yeah, and surprisingly, we didn't have any interruptions from passersby.
A couple, but it wasn't a problem. Yeah.
And what was your favorite scene from the film?
I don't. I guess this one because we were outside and we were shooting and it was great.
Well, thanks. Anyway, actually decided to cut this long conversation.
No.
Yeah, because it went on for another 3 minutes or something like that. But I thought you should get to the point. And
That's a brave choice. Brave choice. Director.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but I think the major point what I wanted to make to put this philosophy about the existence of life that gives the meaning to the universe. That was the highlight of the film, and I think this was everything afterwards was supposed to end. And she finds comfort in his words, and it was left open to interpretation if they're going to be a couple or not, if they're going to just be friends or not. But
Question: what the hell is this?
this is a lovely scene where it shows that in interior they still have spring, while around them in the background there's winter and cold. So no matter if you live in a cold, cruel world, if you have one soulmate along you, you can still be living a warm and comfortable life as if you have eternal spring in your life.
Makes sense.
So anyway, David and Katya probably broke their legs just to film this, and Nadia and Dino, of course, were a great help, Senad as well. And I hope you enjoyed the film and that you got some insight from philosophy and everything.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Goodbye.